A year ago, inflation was lower than it is today. And yet, during that time, we had Donald Trump, the Republican nominee for president, J.D. Vance, the vice presidential nominee for president for the Republicans, and pretty much every other Republican politician in existence in this country telling us that inflation was out of control, Biden is doing nothing about it, everything is horrible, you can't afford to live. But today, not a peep. Even though, again, month-over-month inflation is higher today than it was a year ago, meaning you are paying more for the same goods today than you did this time last year. So, a year ago, with Trump making a big deal about it, you would obviously think that he, being the one in charge of the country now, would tell us how horrible inflation is today, right? Because it's 0.9% from month to month, from June to July, when the estimate said it should be 0.2%. So, we're talking about 4 times higher than estimates. But Donald Trump tells us, no, this is great. This is actually what we wanted. Because, we need inflation. So in 12 months, it went from Biden is horrible because inflation was actually going down to Trump is great because inflation is awesome. Here's what Trump said this week. He said, we had the worst inflation in our nation's history, and now our inflation is down to a perfect number, a beautiful number. That is a direct quote from the President of the United States after learning that month-over-month inflation was the highest it had been in 3 years. 3 years. We had not seen month-over-month inflation that high. And now we did, and he's like, nope, that's perfect. In fact, it's beautiful. A little bit sexy. Kind of like it. This is utter insanity, and this is, of course, textbook gaslighting. A year ago, if it was 0.9% from one month to the other, Republicans would have been building guillotines and saying, bring out the Biden family. But today, the party is silent, and Trump is telling us, the ones who are having to pay more for everything, that y'all need to chill because these numbers are hot. These are good looking numbers. Damn, that's a good looking number, right? I mean, in a perverted way, the way he's saying it, that's just creepy as hell. But inflation is getting worse because of what Donald Trump has done. Business leaders have made that crystal clear. Economists have, financial analysts and financial planners have. But you don't even need the people who are jacking up the prices and monitoring the increase in prices to tell you that. You know that on your own because you, as a human being, buy things. Some people buy more than others, sure. But you've bought something in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm sure you had to have noticed the prices are going up. I'm not kidding. Like usually, I just order all my groceries online, so I'm used to the markup. A few days ago, I actually went into a grocery store for the first time, honestly, in months. And I'm walking around just kind of grabbing a few random little things, and I genuinely was shocked at the prices. Because again, I know I pay a little bit more of a markup when I order online, so that's what I assumed was happening. But it was a shock, and I'm not trying to sound like an elitist. I'm just like super lazy about leaving the house. And it's awful. But that's the reality in which we live, and we live in that reality because of what Trump has done. And he's now trying to tell us, shut up about inflation. It's perfect. This is what we need. This is what we want. We're getting screwed, and this guy is telling us, shut the hell up about it. I'm actually doing you a favor. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.